what was your one takeaway that you could tell somebody that this is what you need to do to get on a path that you need to be on to be successful?
I mean, people do it a lot of different ways. Well,
Mm,
me, it's been faith. I have a broadly interpreted, faith orientation, but I read my Bible, I pray, that gets me grounded, that clears my mind.
okay.
So however you clear your mind, whether it's through prayer or it's through meditation or it's through just taking a deep breath and saying, this is not going to define me, this is not the end of my day. If you
Mm,
can do that, you can start from day one and you chart your course.
okay.
Whether you write it out or you put a vision board together. I do a vision board. I want to have my Bentley. I want to have my houses. I want to have, these girlfriends and this and this and that. And I want to have all these things. But I've got to do it in a step-by-step basis. I'm
Right.
not going to get it all in 5 minutes.
Welcome to the Real Deals Real Estate Show, a show where we break down real estate foreclosure and private lending in a way that actually makes sense. No confusion, no noise, just real conversations, real strategies, and real insights you can use in the real world. I'm your host, Donald Torrance, and this is where we cut through the complexity and get straight to what matters. Now let's get into it. Good day,
Um,
everybody. This is Donald back at you. Got another great guest on as well. Uh, I'm gonna let him introduce himself. He just talking to him briefly. You guys are going to be amazed at his story and what he has to offer you guys, and I hope you guys learn something from it and take some great ideas from what his story is. And it's amazing where what he has built and just listen to what his story is. If you can take it from there and tell them who you are and what you got going on, John.
I sure can. My name is John Everest Thomas. I'm the CEO of Blockstar Corporation, which is the first crypto real estate company in the world that's tied to a portfolio. I've done probably $8 billion of real estate in my life. I'm one of the few people that have managed to lose $1 billion, and I'm on the way to making it back again. I had a little step off in my life. I spent 39 months under the custodial care of the federal government, meaning I went to jail for a while. I walked out with $20 to my name and rebuilt myself again. I'm a proud father of a 19-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son, and I am now in the process of building a close to $20 billion crypto company as it launches in the end of March. Um, I've done every type of real estate there is. I've done industrial, I've done residential, I've done commercial of every type. Um, and now I'm at a point where I'm just building this crypto company. I've got a movie being worked on about my life story called My Way. Um, my social life has been as prolific as my business life. But in real estate, in today's environment, nationally and internationally now, I'm about as good as you get making and buying deals. We're working on deals from buying half of the Eiffel Tower to buying part of the Parthenon. Um, I'm negotiating to buy the Empire State Building REIT. Uh,
Wow.
we're buying massive transactions for our crypto company.
Wow. So that's a lot to unpack right there. That so you told a you went through a tremendous journey to go from being a billionaire to
Being a very
basically
poor, being
$20.
a very poor man. I was
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
negative 40 million from,
Yeah.
from a
So,
billion 268 million.
so that's a lot. So talk to the audience through the transition of being in that position that you were in to going the opposite direction, and how impactful was that to your life?
Well, first of all, I spent some time cooperating with the federal government too, so that made it even more interesting.
Okay.
Um, what the most important thing is when you go through adversity, any kind of adversity, whether it's losing everything you have or you're going through a divorce. I happen to go through all of them
Yeah.
in the last couple of years myself.
Mhm.
Um, but you stay positive. You
Okay.
keep a smile on your face. You apply yourself and you put things in compartments. So
Mhm.
don't let the one bad thing ruin everything else you're working on or ruin what your focus is. Because
Okay.
what the mistakes you've made in your life doesn't define you entirely as a person.
Mhm.
You define yourself and how you turn out at the end of the day. So as long as you can break away from that stuff that's, either bad or harmful or impacting your life, and you can step away and create a path and make a list and do your vision boards, which is something I do. Um, and you say, I want to be here in 6 months. I want to be here in 12 months. And you chart your course from one day to the next year or to the next 2 or 3 years. And so that's how I got out of, I'm in a bad place today, but I'm not always going to be in that bad place. As long as you
Mm.
remember that, you don't stay in that bad place. So that's how I did it.
And that's because what we do as humans, we internalize things and we start getting in our own way. The fact that you were able to actually step out of yourself and then actually make that happen and make that switch that you needed to do was actually tremendous. And most people can't do that. Most people just get the woe is me mentality and can't pull out of it. So now after you came home and you start working on your getting rebuilding your life, who were some of the key players that actually helped you to actually recover from what you was going through?
I mean, there really wasn't any. It was me.
Okay.
I'll tell you a funny story though.
Uh-huh.
So 3 days out of prison, I get an email from a hedge fund, and it says, "We want to lend you $100 million."
Oh, wow.
Now, I think it's a really bad joke someone's playing on me.
Yeah, yeah.
I said, "Did you not read the press? I just got out of jail. You want to lend me $100 million?"
Yeah.
And it was a Christian-based hedge fund called T2 Capital.
Hmm.
And they became my partner. We did about 10, 12 deals.
Okay.
And then I had another friend of mine buy out T2, Jerry Nudo
Hmm.
from Mark Realty,
Okay.
about T2 Capital. And then Jerry and I were partners for a while. And then I've been on my own for the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
Uh, but the 100 million was real. I mean,
Yeah.
I went to their office thinking, I'm going to go find out who these jokesters are. And 2 weeks later, we have a deal.
Wow.
And
So
I go and buy.
you've played with some big hitters in the industry. What was that like for you?
I mean, I did a deal with Sam Zell. Not many people could
Oh,
say they did
wow.
a deal with Sam Zell. I'm the only person to retrade Sam Zell in a
Oh,
deal, which I actually did. Um, I used to own 35 office buildings downtown,
oh,
everything from 250 South Wacker, 318 West Adams, 300 West Adams, 105 West Adams, 11 South LaSalle. I've owned a ton of real estate.
okay. So what were the things that you did wrong that you think put you in a situation that you had to deal with the feds?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you the story about how I got involved with the feds. I had a billboard company I started from 17 years old building my own companies.
Okay.
I was a millionaire at 23 years old. I
Wow.
grew up I grew up in Harlem, New York with no money. My apartment with my mother was 200 square feet. The
Wow.
problem was I had a mom and pop mentality. I thought whatever I had to do to advance my business was okay, and I wasn't paying much attention to anything other than that.
Mhm.
So, when I'm paying my subs in cash, I'm not paying attention that maybe I'm cutting some IRS laws when I do it.
Okay.
So I moved to Chicago. My third day here, I get arrested
Oh,
for,
wow.
for tax evasion and money laundering.
Wow.
And they arraigned me for 398 years.
Wow. That's
And it's pretty amazing, huh?
yeah.
And so what happens is I sell everything I have. I give all my employees 6 months severance, and I go about and start a real estate brokerage company.
Uh,
And I get my license in a week because back then you could get your license in a week. And
mm.
so I cold called Donald Trump. Donald Trump is my first client at Sun Times building.
Wow.
It was meant to be
Yeah.
an office building, not a
Yeah.
residential building originally, and that didn't work out. We stayed friends,
Mm.
and then I got hired by this guy named Jeffrey Grossman, and I'm in this meeting with him. He signs my exclusive. I get referred by Bovis Construction.
Uh,
I walk outside, and there's 20 FBI agents around my Mercedes.
wow.
And I look out and I have a box of documents. And I said, should I be throwing my hands up and dropping the box? They said, not today. And they were here to arrest the guy I just met with.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
so the next
some
morning, I called the U.S. attorney handling the case because I read about how he stole $20 million from the bank. He was
mm.
financing one of his deals. And I figured out what he actually did. So I called them, and that started 14 years of cooperation. I was the longest cooperating witness in the history of the federal government, was me.
Wow.
And I cooperated against every major politician, including an ex-president who is from Chicago.
Wow.
And I don't have to say his name because you can
Yeah,
figure
yeah.
out. And he was indeed indicted,
Okay. Okay.
but they did not arrest him
Wow.
because of race riots.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is a lot. You've been through some really deep things. So,
But I kept a smile on my face, and I just got through it. And
yeah.
my motivation then became my first my daughter Gabrielle, who I love.
Okay.
And then it became my 4-year-old son, who's, at 63 years old to have a 4-year-old son. I got to tell you what,
Mhm.
that's daunting.
Yeah. Yeah. So now you just said something that most people say is they hurdle. You're 63 years old and
Mhm.
you're rebuilding everything. So sometimes people say I'm 60 because I'll be 60 in May. So sometimes people say I'm at that age where I can't see myself doing anything other than working a 9 to 5. It's too late. I started my journey and now it's just over. So speak to those people who are feeling that way that their time is over with.
Well, I look better. I'm in better shape.
Uh-huh.
I think as clearly. I take a lot of vitamins, nootropics, which are mental
Oh,
vitamins.
okay. Okay.
Um, I work out 4 or 5 times a week now that I'm feeling a little better again.
Uh-huh.
And I keep a positive outlook. And I fortunately own a lot of assets, so I'm able to, feedback off of that as necessary.
Okay.
I built this company from scratch. I don't have a lot of employees because our basis of our company is AI.
Okay.
So AI runs a lot of the background management, trading when we start trading the token.
Mm.
All the trading is going to be done by the AI of the token. So and I built something no one else has built.
Okay.
And I've always had that ability. I've always told someone, if you drop me in a country and
Mm.
I don't speak the language, 6 months from that day, with no money, I'll be a millionaire again because I know real estate
Okay.
and I know it irrespective of the language.
Mm.
So,
And that's a powerful thing because I tell people I could be homeless. You could take me anywhere in the world and drop me off. In 30 days or less, I'm gonna find me a place to stay. And in that 30 days, I'm gonna be striving. I'm gonna be making revenue. I'm gonna be on my feet. And most people, when I tell them that, they don't believe it. So you are speaking the language that I understand. When you tell somebody that they don't see past that. So how do you get somebody to see past that? What was your one takeaway that you could tell somebody that this is what you need to do to get on a path that you need to be on to be successful?
I mean, people do it a lot of different ways. Well,
Mm.
me, it's been faith. I have a broadly interpreted, faith orientation, but I read my Bible, I pray, that gets me grounded, that clears my mind.
Okay.
So however you clear your mind, whether it's through prayer or it's through meditation or it's through just taking a deep breath and saying, this is not going to define me, this is not the end of my day. If you
Mm.
can do that, you can start from day one and you chart your course,
Okay.
whether you write it out or you put a vision board together. I do a vision board. I want to have my Bentley. I want to have my houses. I want to have, these girlfriends and this and this and that. And I want to have all these things, but I've got to do it in a step-by-step basis. I'm
Right.
not going to get it all in 5 minutes.
Right.
If you stay focused and go step by step, you can get there.
Mm.
Start with small hurdles. Start with, I'm going to make $1,000 or I'm going to make $10,000. And you set that goal and you achieve it. Then you set the next goal and you keep doing that. And you turn around and you say, look what I did. I did
Right.
all these things
Mm.
because I charted it and I stayed to my course.
Mm.
Don't drink. If you
Yeah.
cannot drink, don't drink.
Right.
Don't do drugs. Don't, treat people with respect the way you want to get treated. You do all those little things and you turn around, they become a big picture.
Right.
And you create that big picture by being a stand-up person and a good person, a respectful person, and a thoughtful person. and someone who just doesn't take for granted the little things you have right now, because it may seem like the world is over and everything's horrible, but look at the little things you have too.
Yeah.
Don't disregard those things
Right.
and build off of that. And
Okay.
that's how anyone can do it.
Yeah. So step by step, and
Yeah.
it's a
I
process.
walked out of a prison cell 80 feet,
Yeah. Wow.
and as a white guy who
Yeah.
was a cooperating witness
Uh-huh.
who ran both prisons he was in. That
Oh,
doesn't happen. That doesn't
wow.
happen very often.
Yeah. So that's an amazing story
That's
within
where the prison
itself.
guards, the wardens, and the inmates all called me Mr. Thomas.
Oh, okay. So that being said, what does your portfolio look like today?
My portfolio today is land. I got out of all my shopping centers and office buildings when COVID hit.
Uh-huh.
COVID hit me too. I got pretty sick during COVID.
Okay.
And I said, you know what? Retail's not for me. And office buildings, they're going to have a hit. I just kept everything out of the portfolio except land.
Okay.
And I own a lot of land from Aurora to Elgin to a whole bunch of different cities around Chicago because I felt that was something that was going to be eventually be rebuilt. And if you look at what's trending today, maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but
Hmm.
they say in the next 5 to 7 years, Chicago will double in size.
Yeah.
Chicago's doubling in size.
Now, yeah.
I am redoubling. And I haven't bought, I bought everywhere else but
Hmm.
in Chicago. And now I'm going to contract on 2 deals
Okay.
that I decided to do 2 weeks ago. I'm buying a building behind my house
Uh-huh.
to move my offices and eventually my apartment to the top of the building. And then I'm buying an office building on Wacker.
Oh wow. Okay. So you stand in the downtown area, so you're actually going to be in that commercial because you're a commercial guy. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it.
I am not a residential guy per se. I'm definitely a commercial guy.
Okay. So you're in the multi-family storefront, more so office space. That's more so where you like to
Well,
land.
I'll give you an example. I'm buying a building on Sangamon,
Okay.
and it's right now it's an office building. It's a
Hmm.
40,000 foot deal, not a big deal. But I'm going to convert it to ultra luxury condos.
Okay.
When I say luxury, I mean $1,000 a foot,
Oh
uh,
wow.
6,200 square feet per floor, and that's the
Wow.
smallest apartment in the building.
Wow.
I'm putting a pool in the basement with a health club for the tenants, parking on the first floor, and then single floors two, three, four, five, six, and seven.
Okay. So you're a big hitter. So how now let's talk about because those are big deals. Most banks, they cap you out at a
When
certain
I got out of prison, when
uh-huh.
I got out of prison about 9 years ago, approximately, no, yeah, nine, yeah. So it was 2017.
Okay.
I bought a single family house in Des Plaines
Okay.
and I flipped it 5 weeks later for a $50,000 profit. And that's how I started getting back on my feet.
Okay. So now how are you funding your deals now? What are you doing? Let's talk about where your funding comes from.
Unfortunately, because of my past, I get funded by bridge lenders, not, I haven't had a bank lend me money pretty much ever.
Okay.
Uh, um, I'm using bridge lenders in California, bridge lenders in Idaho, bridge lenders in Minnesota.
Okay.
And they lend me money and I put up capital from I'm selling off a couple of different deals now. And as I sell them off, I get cash and I fund them back into deals. Now, with my crypto company, I bought $8.5 billion of real estate with 100% crypto,
Oh
not a
wow.
single dollar involved in any of the transactions. Um, so
Let's talk about that because somebody that's because I'm looking at myself. I've never been in the crypto space. I don't understand the crypto space. And you're taking crypto and you're buying real estate. So how would that somebody like me that may have an interest in it, how would something like that come about for me? And I'm looking at larger deals as well. I'm looking at 120 room or I mean 120 room apartment building, 130 room motel. I'm looking at some larger deals.
okay.
And we're in the middle of raising capital. So if we had another source, how would you talk to us about doing something like that?
Well, interestingly, when I built the business,
Hmm.
I intended to do mezzanine lending
Okay.
using crypto.
Okay.
So I'll take you from your loan,
Hmm.
you get, 70, 75% coverage on, or 65%. And I'll take you to 90, 95, depending on the deal.
Okay.
So I'll bridge your 20, 25% over your loan.
Okay.
So that's how I would do it. And I'd explain, we're going to launch in March. So
Okay.
you're
You froze up.
the dollar.
I'm sorry, you froze up. You froze up for a moment. I don't know what happened.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what, are you
So
back
the
on?
last thing you was talking about the 75%, you was taking people from 75% to
So what I'm looking to do as one of our third courses of our token business, where you don't,
I don't know
so,
what's going on.
so you
I don't
take
know
your
if that's
crypto,
yeah.
you take your crypto,
Okay.
and let's say you get a 65 or 70 or 75% loan, I'll take you to 90, 95%.
Okay.
So what you've got to find is 5 or 10%. I'll
Hmm.
take the rest of the burden and I'll explain to your seller how it's going to be beneficial to them.
Okay.
I'm giving you the crypto at a dollar. Very likely that crypto goes to 1,000 in the next 12 to 18 months.
Okay.
We're looking to pass Ethereum in our first year and a half,
Oh wow.
which will put us at about 3,000 a token.
Okay.
You're getting it at a dollar. It's going to hit 2 to 3 pretty damn quick.
Okay.
So, and then we're shooting for Bitcoin.
Okay.
I'm looking to be the preeminent
Hmm.
token, not. We're opening at number 9 in the world.
Okay.
I'm looking to be number 1 inside of 5 years.
Oh wow.
So
So in that process, are you basically doing this all with AI and yourself, or are you bringing on partners, or what does that
I,
look
I
like
have
for
I
you?
have a couple of junior partners. My president has some percentage, and my general counsel has been with me for about 9 years, has a percentage.
Okay.
But I really, I have 90% of the company.
Okay. And
So
and,
I'm,
and
I'm doing two more tokens coming
okay.
up. I'm doing an energy token where we're actually buying oil wells and gas lines and
Hmm.
refineries.
Oh
And
wow.
then I'm doing a precious metals where we're buying gold mining and platinum mines and silver mines. And we're actually going to mine the precious metals and store them. So when we talk about real world assets, it's not like some algorithm like Bitcoin or like Ethereum or like 99% of these tokens. It's actual assets.
Okay.
So you'll get a quarterly distribution from us if you were
Hmm.
to buy our real estate Blockstar.
Okay.
So you get a quarterly distribution from the rents. It
Hmm.
gets paid out by our accounting firm. And you get a distribution annually for dividend where we give you 10% tokens on top of what you have every year you're with us.
Oh wow.
So we're giving you the incentive to stay with us. But
Hmm.
you should yield about 30% on your investment annually. Plus, you'll see the spike from one to wherever this goes. Now, imagine if you had, Bitcoin at a dollar, and look where that went. Well, we're going to go
Okay.
to the same place. We're
Okay.
going to we're going to open up at a dollar, and we're going to hit 60, 70, 100,000, 200,000, anywhere Bitcoin can go. We're going to be beyond that because we're tangible. You can kick. We have bricks and mortar. We're buying iconic real estate. We're buying massive assets. And and right now we're the only portfolio-based crypto in the world.
Okay. So are you going public? You said by March, or are you
No, no, we're launching in March. We're going
okay.
public 2 years after,
Okay.
which will be with the three tokens I just described: real estate, energy, and precious metals.
Hmm.
And we're building a real-world asset exchange.
Okay.
We've done those four things, we go public. My lender doesn't think a CEO should be a convicted felon of a public corporation.
You
So, so,
show him wrong. Show him that he made a mistake.
so my venture capital is giving us buying 200 million of our tokens when we launch.
Okay.
And once 2 years from that date, we go public. But I mean, I still keep my stock. I'm on the board of directors.
Hmm.
I still should be chairman. I just have a colorful past. It is
Right.
what it is.
Right.
Doesn't, as I tell everyone, your past doesn't define you as a person.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's what you make out of it after you come from it. And you've
And
done
how
a
you treat people
tremendous job.
and how you treat people.
Absolutely. So, and that's a really great thing. So, if somebody is interested in wanting to reach out to you and have a conversation with you and be part of what you're doing because it's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before, and I've been doing real estate for almost 40 years now. How do somebody reach out to you and have a conversation with you about what you
Well,
have?
I take phone calls and
Mhm.
I mean, my preference is to take a text, and I'll give my number right now. It's
Okay.
312-515-2333.
Okay.
Text me because you're not going to get a call back if you don't.
Right.
What you're calling me about, what help you need, or what you want to discuss, and I'll reach back to you. I reach out to everyone that gets back to me. So
Okay.
we'll just set up a time to chat.
Wow, that's great. I think this is I'm gonna actually take some time out and sit down and try to figure out how we can actually do some deals together and learn a little bit more about what you got going on. I think it's amazing, and I think people that hears this going to actually get some great information from it. And I think this will be a groundbreaking for the upcoming years. And I look forward to seeing what you accomplish in the upcoming years.
Well,
Uh,
I wouldn't rule out being president one day because that's actually my aspiration. Trump beat me to be the first felon president, but I was going to be the first felon president. I ran for mayor. I was in the first couple of debates for
oh
mayor,
wow.
and I just I definitely won the debates, but I
Okay.
just wasn't it wasn't my time to enter politics. And the issue is, I was going to waive my salary
Uh-huh.
and continue to run my business and be mayor.
Okay.
And I came up a way how to solve homeless.
Okay.
But the current mayor doesn't want to have a conversation with me. I
Mm.
came up with all the graft in the city.
Uh-huh.
All the previous mayors had put their family and friends on the payroll.
Okay.
If you got rid of them, you'd have an extra $1.7 billion per annum
Mm.
available for teachers and police. But the
Wow.
current mayor hasn't called me back, although he's on my friend list on LinkedIn.
Okay.
He doesn't take much insight from me.
Right, right,
The
right.
city has 110,000 parcels of land,
Okay.
124,000. You could put a tiny home on each land for 50, $60,000,
Right.
house and give a deed to each homeless person in the city and
Mm.
solve your homeless crisis in 2 years. The budget for homeless in Chicago is 300 million a year.
Wow.
Do you know how many people they house permanently? Zero.
Zero. Yeah.
They house zero people permanently.
Right.
In my plan, every individual would get a house that they would own free and clear, not a big house, but a house you could be comfortable and own it and
Right.
never have a problem and enter the economic cycle of the
Mm.
city because you have a little basis.
Right.
But the mayor doesn't think out of the box. He's got this very narrow view, like let's build low income housing. Well, let's go figure the homeless crisis first,
Right.
and then worry about low income housing from there.
Right. And because I'm in the housing the homeless, because what we're doing is we start off with apartment buildings and we give them a room that they can actually go in, and then they share the common space. So we transition to hotels and larger apartment buildings. We're finding that there were the Biden signed 3 point, I forget how many billions of dollars for the homeless, and that money is not being used. And it's not being used because they don't have places to place the homeless. And if they was to actually, and they asking investors to actually open up your doors for the homeless and they'll cover the expenses, but most investors don't want to do that. So our goal this year is to house 300 homeless people. And how we're doing that is with transitioning to motels and larger apartment buildings. So if the city, this, and we get so many non-for-profits from the city of Chicago. So if they was to open up your plan, because it sounds like a phenomenal plan, if they was to open up your plan to actually start doing tiny homes for the homeless, do you know how many people you can help? It's amazing.
66,000 homeless in the city of Chicago. That's how
It's
many.
amazing. So,
When I would be done,
mm,
there would be no homeless in Chicago, and we'd have an inventory because the
mm,
land's obviously you could put more than one house.
right.
you could put 10 houses on most of the parcels. Well, if you
Yeah.
did that, you'd have a perpetual never having homeless in the city of Chicago.
Yeah.
Just that simple. No more complicated. We have 300 million per annum in the budget for homeless, and they house no homeless.
Wow.
It doesn't make sense. It just
Wow.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
What are they doing with that money?
Yeah.
They
It's
have consultants that consult to consultants to consult to consultants. It's ridiculous.
and nothing's getting done.
And nothing's getting done.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have 124,000 parcels and no one's buying. Why don't you do something?
Yeah. So
This
now are
mayor,
you going to use the crypto for that as well? Or is that something you thought about or
I mean, I really haven't, to be honest, I'm focused on valuation. I'm focused on
oh, okay.
buying properties in Spain and Italy and England and, you know,
Okay.
in France and the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, Malaysia, Singapore, and some in the United States. And the
Okay.
preponderance of our assets are not in the US.
Okay.
I made a deal in Vietnam sitting with a bunch of generals,
Hmm.
and I joked. I said, "You guys are a democracy, huh?"
Yeah.
Um, but we're going to be all over the world.
Okay.
So
All
so
right.
my focus is much more across the board. But the mayor should hire me
Uh-huh.
and you together. We'll do this,
Okay.
and we'll solve the homeless crisis, and we could have the plan put in place in 1 year.
Hmm.
And it may take a few years to build all the houses, but
Right.
when we turned around, there'd be no more homeless in Chicago.
Yeah.
And that would be, the mayor wants to run for reelection, assuming I don't come back out and decide to do it again.
Right.
Because if I do, I win. Um,
Right.
I win. Um, so why not have something you could point to and say, I did that. I stopped homelessness in Chicago.
Right.
He's going to get elected every term. Cities
Absolutely.
love it.
Because
But
he just made a serious statement that no other person before him can actually do. So yeah, absolutely. So
so, but he I sent him LinkedIn messages all the time,
uh,
and he just doesn't respond. And
mm,
he's more worried about putting fires out
wow.
or serving the teachers union because that seems to be
His main focus, yeah.
his god, so to speak.
Yeah. So,
And
John, this was great. I really thank you for coming on today. I think your message is going to get across to a lot of people in the crypto space that it's going to be phenomenal. I would love to see it grow and see what comes from it. One key thing is, are you open to taking investors to come in and actually help build the space for your crypto?
we're taking investors. It's really more of a personality issue for me.
Okay.
I want to have investors I can work with long term. I can
Okay.
put on an advisory board. I mean, I want to have people I can talk to. I mean,
Hmm.
right now I'm building this thing by myself effectively. I would love to have some investors I could say, hey, what do you think about this? Or what do how about if we try this or that? I don't have that right now.
Okay.
So that
That's
would intrigue me more than the
yeah.
amount of money they bring to the table.
Okay. So you looking for somebody who you can bounce ideas off of
Yeah,
that
I mean,
person.
we're raising about $20 million right now just to bridge. So what happens is, I'm going to buy eventually this Empire State Building REIT we talked about.
Mm, right.
And, you can't tie it up with crypto.
Right.
I've got to write a check, and that check's got to be 20, 30, 40, $50 million. So
Okay.
we're going to continually raise money to have the deposit checks that can become pretty high when you start because we can't buy a small house or a small building because I've got, the overall fund to think about.
Right.
I've got to buy something larger. And REITs have been our path because REITs have become so undervalued.
Okay.
I can buy a REIT for a quarter of its value today
Okay.
and sell off the pieces for four times what I paid for the public REIT.
Okay.
So I'm actively buying public REITs.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I need to get additional capital together to have the deposits. Once we close, it'll be with crypto, but to get it tied up, I've got to put cash up. So
Okay.
I am actively looking for investors now.
So those of you all who are looking to actually get into real estate and want to invest passively, reach out to John.
And
Uh,
there's one more thing. Our crypto is meant to be for the poor people, the middle class, and the wealthy people, where you can invest in quality real estate you'd never be able to invest in,
okay.
and spend a dollar or two or 1,000 or 10,000 and own a piece of a portfolio that you would never be able to see without cover. We're making real estate equal for everyone.
Okay. And
So
that's great because your small mind pause who wanted to get in real estate and just never saw past them getting into it, that was their blocker. That was the I need $100,000 to get into this deal. Now you're lowering the threshold so they can actually get into it. So that's tremendous. And most people that wants to get into this space, here's the opportunity that he's giving you guys right now. So take advantage of it, jump all into it, and I would love to have the opportunity to actually come back in say 3 years and see where it goes.
one last thing, our website is myblockstar, MYBLOCKSTAR.com, myblockstar.com. If you have any questions, we left my phone number on the middle of the broadcast. I'm available to ask any questions you have.
Let's get your phone number and that again. Let's get that website
My
again.
number is 312-515-2333. My webmail, my email address is Jet, John Everest Thomas at myblockstar.com, MYBLOCKSTAR.com.
All right, people. And then we're gonna put that in the notes as well, so you guys can actually see this. And don't forget to reach out to John. If you like this, follow us and share it. Look forward to hearing you guys on the next one. That's a wrap for today's episode of the Real Deals Real Estate Show. If you found value in this conversation, make sure to follow, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, stay informed, stay prepared, and keep moving forward.